So I challenge the new atheists to call off this war against God and Christianity, acknowledge their errors, agree to civility and honesty, and apologize for using specious arguments to make a point. They have miscalculated Christians and have confused us with weak, wimpy, wobbly church members. We will do what is necessary to protect our children and our freedom. For those atheists who remain adamant and persistent in their evil mission, I call them out for a showdown, high noon style. I stand in the middle of Hadleyville, New Mexico, like the hero Gary Cooper. He's waiting for the bad guys to arrive on the train at high noon. The train carries the notorious Miller gang, who will try to kill the retiring town marshal who just married that morning a Quaker girl. He lays his honeymoon to do his duty and is forced to face the gang alone since the deputies can't use a gun for various reasons and the townspeople are too timid or cowardly to help. He's alone as the craven citizens cower behind drawn shades. The marshal is aware of the odds against him as he stops in the dirt street and wipes the sweat from inside his hat. He pulls out his watch. It's high noon, and he hears the train coming into the station right on time. He takes one last look at his six-shooters to make sure they're loaded and working properly. The marshal replaces his guns, looks up at the sun, and faces the gang as they enter Front Street. His new wife gets cold chills in the New Mexico heat, while the deputies and townspeople peer through the windows. When within firing distance, the bad guys drew their guns, but the marshal is faster and more accurate. When the dust and gun smoke clear away, the street is littered with the bodies of the bad guys. The marshal glances toward the townspeople as they run from their stores to congratulate him. He's not impressed. His new wife rushes out to meet him, and they walk arm in arm to their buggy to begin their honeymoon. Driving out of town, he throws a shiny object into the street. His marshal's badge, showing his distaste, disdain, and disgust for a town who refused to take a stand. In like manner, I call out the bad guys to face the music. Will the new atheists take the challenge from a simple Christian? I am ready for a shootout. I challenge atheists to leave their ivory towers and lecture halls and put up or shut up. Number one, tell us that you do or do not believe the unsupportable, even outrageous teaching that nothing created everything. I promise not to laugh out loud, and maybe only a snicker or two. And don't try to flim-flam us common people with scientific jargon, psychobabble, and gibberish, but make your points in clear English. Number two, tell us how and when all the scientific laws, such as gravity, inertia, first and second laws, laws of planetary motion, and others, came into existence. How does a scientific law evolve? If they did not evolve, where did they come from? Three, did the evolution of those scientific laws precede or follow the Big Bang? Four, can you provide any example of an explosion resulting in order, producing a universe that runs like a Swiss clock? Paul Davies, an astronomer, asked where all the order in the universe came from originally. That's an astronomer asking. 5, tell us how life first formed on a planet made entirely of rock. 6, do you or do you not believe in spontaneous generation? Recently, new atheists have told me that no scientist believes in spontaneous generation, not since Pasteur. That's simply not true. Stephen Jay Gould said, life began 3.5 billion years ago, necessarily about as simple as it could be because life arose spontaneously from the organic compounds in the primeval oceans, close quote. Stephen Jay Gould. 7, why are meteorites not found in ancient rocks? Could it be that those rocks are not that ancient? After all, everyone admits that meteorites have always fallen. So why are they never found in what's known as old rocks? 8, tell us how men and women evolved at the same time in history at the same location. What if early man had been all male? What if the men all evolved on one continent and the men and women all evolved on the other continent? You got problems right here in River City. 8, 9, which evolved first? The mouth, the stomach, the digestive system, or the elimination system? What good is the mouth if there's no stomach or digestive system? And what good are the 3 without an elimination system? 10, concerning DNA, what other coding system has existed without intelligent design? No book exists without an author. All codes have a designer. Moreover, if all the DNA strands in one body were placed end to end, it would reach from the earth to the moon and back many times. 11. How do living fossils such as the coelacanth remain unchanged over supposed hundreds of millions of years if evolution has developed molecules to monkeys to man in the same time frame? 12. How did blind chemistry create mind intelligence, meaning, altruism, and morality? 13. Give me one example of evolution being observed. Richard Dawkins said, quote, evolution has been observed, it's just that it hasn't been observed while it's happening, close quote. What's that? Flam again. 14. Evolutionists boast that evolution is scientific and creationism is religion. But how can evolution be scientific when it can't be observed, tested, or demonstrated? Fact is, evolution is about as scientific as a voodoo rooster plucking ceremony in Haiti. Almost. 15. Explain the symbiotic relationship between wild creatures like the Nile crocodile and the Egyptian plover that walks into the croc's mouth to clean out all the parasites and then walks out safely and is never eaten by the crocodile. 16. Explain how the discovery of fresh blood cells in dinosaurs can be possible. No sane person believes that they could be 60 million years old and still be fresh. These people are desperate. 17. Tell us why we're here and where we go when death finally comes for us. As Christopher Hitchens recently just proved, when death comes, no one escapes. 18. What happens if the atheists are wrong and I'm right? After all, any real scholar will admit that theoretical possibility. Remember, there is a hotter place than Hadleyville at high noon in August. And like Hadleyville, that place is spelled with an H. Since the God of the Bible is real, and eternity is in everyone's future, don't you think it might be wise and safe to consider this issue more carefully? If it is only possible that there's a sovereign, all-powerful God out there, then that is the most staggering truth ever faced by any mortal. And that truth will affect every person on the face of the earth. So, is atheism really worth the risk? Eternity is a long time to be wrong. If I'm wrong about eternity and God's existence, it costs me nothing. Just had a lifetime of incredible pleasure and happiness. But if atheists are wrong, they've lost everything, including their souls. Only fools will ridicule, resist, and refuse my challenge, since it's God's challenge, and in everyone's interests.